there was a guy on the side of the road waving his Union Jack, but I didn't give that guy a chance. So when I saw what was written, and it was such a lovely message, it was something that I can't remember the exact message, but it was something like, "Together we're stronger. We're stronger if we unite." I beat my car at him. Do you know what I mean? As I went past, give him a little point. My man saluted me with his flag in his hand.
So, I'm a little bit disappointed, man.
What, you're not enjoying walking on your St. George's Cross zebra crossings and roundabouts?
I'm disappointed because like we made a video asking, is the British flag racist? In which we thought it wasn't racist. But then there's people chanting racist slurs, saying racist things, and flying the flag high and wide. So it's like, we're defending, obviously not everyone thinks this, but we're defending the flag saying we don't think it's racist, we just think it's a proud thing. It's a little bit like cheesy maybe to a certain extent when you keep flying your own flag in your country. It's
very
a bit
American,
weird.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit cheesy.
Very
but
American.
I think to do that, like we think, okay, cool, it is what it is, but it's not racist. But then the past couple of weeks, I see it everywhere, and I know it's the thought in the back of that person's head when they done that was racist. So it's so disappointing because it's like, well, people are getting upset with us because, they're saying, it's not racist. Well, yeah, if you listen to the video, we don't think it's racist, but you're probably one of those people that done it in a racist way.
And do you know what it is? When you have a picture of someone that looks like you, someone that looks like me, and the comment asks, we're discussing, is the flag racist? They automatically think they know which side of that argument we're going to be on.
Yeah.
They're going to be, guys that look like that are going to they're going to think it's racist. Look at them. Of course they're going to think it's racist. Actually, we don't. We were actually very pro-flag. We were actually very pro the ability for people to fly their national flag with pride and not be called a racist for it.
But then there's how many people doing it?
Yeah, there's people. I think people
with
are racist.
With the racist thought behind it.
I think people are racist, not flag. I still believe that.
The flag is not racist.
I still believe
that.
But
people are linking their racism to the flag.
Do you know what it is as well?
They're linking their racism to the flag. They're almost saying if we fly this flag, it means that we don't want anyone else in this country that is not flying this flag. But at the same time, they're then saying they want all black people out and all Asian people out.
But they'll say they're not saying that.
And then they're even saying that they don't want any Europeans in to us.
Yeah, and the thing is, they'll argue that. They'll say, no, we only want non-illegal. But the thing is, I was watching one of their guys, I think one of the party's guys, and they were like, okay, we're going to start with illegal immigrants, and then we're going to go after people that have been less than 10 years. I'm like, okay, lovely.
Serious?
But what about when they're done? Who are you going to go after next? Who are you going to go after next, man? We're all on that list. We might just be lower down.
Yeah, 100%.
The thing
100%.
is, like,
that's messed up.
The English. I was having this conversation the other day with a couple of people, both of them not born in England, but they were like, "Do you have a different connotation to the St. George's flag than you do to the British flag?" And they actually said the British flag is more palatable because it's almost more inclusive, as you can be British. It's a citizenship.
Okay.
You understand? When they were saying if someone flies the St. George's flag, it's very specific to England, and then it becomes about if you're not white, you can't be English, because it becomes more of an English race and a native to England. Do you see what I mean?
I don't know.
British, that's the feeling that they had. Do you know what I mean?
I think they're the same.
But I don't. No, because the British one includes also Scotland and Wales. And it also includes like the Commonwealth and stuff, doesn't it? And people under the British flag.
But I think most people don't even know what the British flag is, bro. They don't.
They don't know the difference.
They don't.
But what they also don't understand is, like, you know, again, it comes down to what we talk about consistency and being informed. You know, you're flying the St. George's Cross and saying, you know, St. George and English and proud. St. George was born in Turkey.
Yeah.
And his mother was
immigrant.
Palestinian. Do you know what I mean? Like, so before you start talking about the race and the, you know, to be English and natively English, you have to understand your history as well. No one is native to England.
No.
No one is native to England.
No.
The native people in this area are Celts, which would be, you know, Scotland and Ireland and places like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no real native people in the UK. Anglo-Saxons came from Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But immigration in this country, people were brought into this country after the Second World War to help build it. It wasn't like, oh, again, it's this narrative that the British were so welcoming and we just want to give people a chance. They were welcoming, but they were welcoming because they needed help.
Yeah, they
you know what I
needed
mean?
to be welcoming.
And
They didn't have a
thing-
choice.
And the mad thing is, this racism now that's happening, I'm older than a lot of people that will watch this, but my grandfathers and, you know, my great-grandfathers, people in this country during the war loved black and brown people because they saw them as allies. Because when they used to see them, they were wearing a British uniform and coming through the country and fighting in the Second World War against Hitler. You see pictures of like the Indian Army marching through France during the First World War, people putting ribbons on them, women running up to them, putting ribbons on their chest.
I think the problem nowadays is that life is almost too easy in that aspect.
Yeah.
So we always want a fight.
Yeah.
I think we always want a fight, and I think we're given something to fight for all the time. Whether that be something that we should be even focusing on fighting, I don't know. But it's almost like we have a massive issue in this country, and the easy way is to fight. What are we fighting? Who are we fighting? Let's pick a problem and let's blame someone for that problem, and that is what we're gonna fight. I almost feel it's almost like blind
Loyalty.
Yeah.
Tribalism.
Yeah,
My team's
it's
better
like,
than your team.
I'm pissed.
I don't
We're
know
all
why.
pissed. Who the fuck are we gonna let this out on? Him.
Yeah.
It's like,
And they will hate whoever they're told to hate. Because if tomorrow
That's
the
what I'm
people in
saying.
charge were saying, we love brown people are helping us there, everyone would be like, yeah, we like brown people.
yeah,
And it was someone, I
Yeah.
can't remember who it was. I saw someone the other day on social media somewhere, and he was a very intelligent man. I don't know who it was. I'm just not trying to steal his stuff. I've learned it from someone else. And he was like, he made a very interesting observation. He said, you have to understand, a lot of the words being used right now, two-tier policing, and all these kind of words that we get, you know, from people, grooming gangs and all these words, assimilation. He goes, that is not the vernacular, that is not the regular vernacular of the average working class Englishman. That is not how they speak normally. So these words have come from above. Because the average person is not going to say grooming gang, they'll just say, oh, he's a nonce, he's a pedo, whatever.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So the fact that they're using all which working class guys on building sites are talking about people being assimilating, culturally assimilated? These are words that have been passed down from higher ups to keep us divided. And that's the thing people don't need to learn. Do you know what I mean? We have got more in common with the people that we are bombing than the people telling us to bomb them.
yeah,
Understand that. The average Englishman has got more in common with the average Afghani who just lives in his house, has his family, goes to work, comes back. They have more in common with them than they do for these elite people that are telling us to go and bomb those countries because they're evil.
But, you know, I was looking into something and they were saying that, like, in the history, like, with the Roman Empire,
Yeah.
the one way they kept people entertained and or focused on something other than what they were doing, was the Colosseum.
Yeah. And that's sports now.
Yeah.
That's football.
So it's like, by keeping people entertained and focused on bullshit,
Yes. Keeps them away from the main thing. Give them something shiny in front of them.
yeah,
Yeah, that's an old school saying. That that's a thing. Shall I tell you something mad that I learnt once? I've been very fortunate in my life that I've met people just by chance. I've happened to be in the room when people are talking, and I've never heard what they've said from anyone else before or after. I've just maybe heard one thing once in my life that I just happened to be in the room. Do you know what I mean? I've been very fortunate like that. I've had stuff like that. I once sat in a room with an elderly lady whose father was one of Hitler's original Nazis before the World War, when he came in, because Hitler was democratically elected. Yeah, Hitler wasn't a dictator. He was democratically elected as the Chancellor of Germany. Chancellor in Germany is the equivalent of PM or President. They call it the Chancellor, or they did. I don't know if they've changed it now, but back then. So he was democratically elected, right? And her dad, this is an old German woman, she's a university professor. Her dad was one of the original Nazis, right? When it was all about pro-Germany. Pro-Germany. When it started becoming pro-Germany, but anti-Jew, anti-this, anti-that, anti-this, he didn't like it. He tried to assassinate Hitler.
Okay.
He was one of his inner circle, tried to assassinate, failed. This woman watched her dad being beheaded as for treason. When she was, I think, 6 years old, 8 years old. She watched her dad getting beheaded for attempting to assassinate Hitler, because he was all good when it was pro-Germany, but when it started becoming actually pro-Germany, but let's kill those people because they're anti. Which is what a lot of people are like now. I'm just proud to be English, I'm against illegals. And then eventually it becomes a different thing, right? And what she said to me and what she learned from this, that racism on a average person level, we're not talking about elite racism. I understand the concept of racism in top down, I get that. But what she's saying was racism at the bottom level was just about not wanting to be the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah,
so my life is shit. I have no money. My wife hates me. I can't afford new trainers. But at least I'm not black. At least I'm not Muslim. At least I'm not Jewish. At least I'm not an immigrant.
Yeah. Because in America, it was, I think it was the Irish first.
Yeah.
And then it was the Italians.
Yes.
And then it was the blacks.
And Eastern Europeans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the Italians were at the bottom until the blacks came.
But the blacks were there long before the Italians. The blacks
but they were
500 years.
So how was it then? Because
it's the immigration ladder, because the blacks were not even counted as human beings, right? So
right, okay. So they got their human card.
So no, even when they got their human card, you know, there were 3/5 of a human being in America.
That's madness.
You never heard the phrase 3/5?
Nah.
So that was a thing in America. So when the slaves were, when black people in America were slaves, they were not human. They were cattle and property. They were branded. They used to brand them.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of research on this. Like, I'm educated in Black American history. I've read the original books by the original writers and activists in that time, from like 150 odd years ago. Do you know what I mean? So they weren't considered people at all. So when the slaves were freed, there had to be equal in the sense of they were human beings now, right? But they still wouldn't describe them as equal, because even though it wasn't technically called slavery anymore, there was still segregation. There's still, people would argue that the military, the prison system in America is still slavery. Do you know what I mean? It's just, they've just repackaged it, right? But they got basically told, because you didn't want to be able to vote and stuff like that and be equal, right? So black people were considered 3/5 of a human being. So they weren't considered a whole human being, they were 3/5, which made it that they didn't have certain rights, or it wasn't
why they
one
did
for
it.
one,
Right, okay.
1 for 1 voting and stuff like that, and you know, all that. So if you look into it, if anyone was, there were 3/5 of a human being
Because I remember that
after slavery.
there was a point where the Italians came and they obviously found their way.
Italians came quite late though.
Eventually, yeah.
Italians came in like 1900
Yeah, but
And
they
the Irish?
eventually kind of found their way, and
in little neighbourhoods.
they obviously straight away, because the fact that they were white, were above the blacks, but they still at one point were treated quite badly
Oh,
as far as I
horrible.
know.
They weren't considered white.
Yeah.
They weren't considered white. You know, the Italians had a hard time, but the Italians had organised crime.
Yeah.
And that kind of helped them in that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Irish were slaves.
Yeah.
And that's why, do you know what? I have a bit of a bone to pick with the Irish people. Right? Because I'm from an Irish area in London. Yeah, I was raised by the Irish. My babysitter was Irish. I grew up, I went to the Catholic club, and do you know what I mean? Like, I love, with all my heart, I can't tell you how much I love the Irish people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love the Irish people. I think they're so loving and so resilient in what they've been through and what that country has been through, with, you know, being occupied and stuff like that. And, you know, they've had to always fight occupying powers, whether that be Vikings or the British or whatever. The resilience and the love that Irish people have is never lost on me. Yeah, so that's the first thing. I love the Irish people, but my Irish brothers and sisters need to really look at themselves at the moment, because the way they are treating immigrants in their country, for a people, and any Irish people watching, for a people that has had to gone through as much as you've had to go through, and the challenges that you've had to go through as a people and as a nation, and the resilience that you've had to show when other people were belittling you and trying to bully you, you are now doing the same thing to people in your country, helping to build it. Do you know what I mean? You know, there's a big lot of racism going on against Indians in Ireland at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen some very, very disturbing videos. There was one with, you know, about 20, 30 guys had surrounded like an Uber driver or something. They were like hitting his car and smashing his windows. And someone said, oh, I checked the plates. The plates are not the plates, he didn't have insurance. Okay, so if a guy didn't have insurance, fair enough. Is the crime, does the punishment justify the crime? If someone's, was not insured on a car, yeah, it could be dangerous and sure, he should be pulled up for that. But does that deserve for a guy to be terrified in his car, for 20 or 30 people to be around his car trying to smash his window in?
That's an excuse.
And people are commenting on the video, oh, they're not called thugs, they're concerned citizens. That is not a concerned citizen. Because if that was 30 Muslim guys around a white person's car breaking
and
windows,
he didn't have insurance,
it will be the same comments in the section. Deport them. Oh, religion of peace.
Yeah.
Usual suspects. But when those guys are doing it, it's, oh, they're concerned and they're frustrated citizens and they're just people that have been pushed to the limit. Like, I urge the Irish people, not that I'm anyone important or anyone's going to listen to me, but I love my Irish people. You need to take a step back and look, because bullying is learned. Everything that we do is learned. We're seeing it with Israel at the moment. And how can the Irish people be chanting Free Palestine and at the same time be so horrible to people of colour in their country? When you're hearing of little kids getting racially abused by adults, do you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the fact is, like I say, a country that has been through what you have been through, and a country that is as proud as you are and is as loving, like, you won't find a more loving people than the Irish. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to find a people as humble and as loving as the Irish people, and I love them to death. And that's why it hurts me so much, because I'm seeing a country that I love and people that I love behaving like that. Bullying is learned, and sometimes the bullied becomes the bully. And all you got to do is look at Israel for that. Jewish people have had a hard time in history. They were bullied. And now they're doing exactly the same thing to other people. Do you know what I mean? They're doing exactly the same thing as what happened to them in the Second World War. They're just doing it to someone else. The Irish have been bullied in the past, and now they're doing exactly the same thing to other people. The Irish were enslaved. The Irish, remember, in England, not some faraway third world country, in England in the 60s, the general, very accepted signs on pubs were no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. This is in the 1960s. This is not the fucking Victorian ages. This is not the 1800s. This is when my dad was here. No blacks, with black counted for black, Indian, it was just whatever, generic. No
anyone
blacks,
that's brown.
No blacks, no Irish, no dogs. They used to have them signs in pubs and shops or whatever. And it was totally accepted. So for the Irish people to now go and say things like that in their country, you've become the thing that you hated the most. And you've become the bullies from people that were being bullied. And it's a real shame. And I hope Ireland sees a way to unite its people. Because no one's coming and stealing your jobs. They're taking jobs that no one wants.
Yeah.
You can go and drive an Uber. It doesn't take much. Get in your car, start driving. There, you're an Uber driver. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not hard. Get in your car, get your insurance to carry food and do like a hire and reward, whatever insurance that it takes.
Yeah.
Go to restaurants and pizzas and start delivering pizzas. And you are having that job. But the problem is you don't want those jobs. And then you'll complain that someone else comes and does them. They wouldn't have to come and do those jobs if those jobs were not available because they were filled by people who are prepared to do jobs that they don't necessarily want to do. You think these Indian people are coming to Ireland thinking, you know what, how I'm going to live my life? I'm going to go and deliver pizza. I'm going to fucking ferry drunk Irishmen around after they've been to the pub and drop them off home. That's what I want to do. That's my dream. They're not. They're doing jobs that no one else wants to do. There's loads of jobs. There's loads of jobs available. I don't care what country you live in. There's loads of jobs. There's loads of jobs in England. There's loads of jobs.
There is.
I live in the north of England. There's loads of jobs. People say there's no jobs. I'm like, no, there's no jobs that you want or you think that are worth your time or that pay more than social security benefit. You start doing a weighing up of it. I will lose my social security benefit. I earn more money from social security benefit than earning minimum wage. There's loads of jobs. Join the army, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
We've spoken about this before. Join the army.
That's easy money, man.
Join the army. You'll learn a trade.
Easy money.
And you'll learn a trade.
Yeah.
You can go in there with no qualifications.
Yeah, you
18
could come
years
out with a
old.
driver's license, a truck license,
Yeah.
a pilot's license.
You could be a mechanic, an electrician, a plumber,
a
medic,
physio.
everything.
Yeah.
And you can do that. Do 5 years in the army. They'll give
Yeah,
you 3
yeah.
square meals a day.
Yeah.
And and you'll fight for this country
Yeah,
that
and
you
they'll
love
give
so
you
much.
they'll give you a little spot to crash out. You don't even have to pay that much. You can save pretty much everything.
Yeah. There's loads of jobs.
Yeah,
The army's crying out. If you really want to go and fight for your country that much, then you can go and have a go at all those Islamists in all those third world countries and go and over there and you can see what's really going on in those countries. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, this flag thing, let's stop weaponizing it. Do you know what I mean? Being proud is cool. Alienating other people is not cool. And the thing is, you're asking people to assimilate, but you're just pushing them away. I don't know how we're supposed to assimilate. I don't know what that means. Like, there's no one more assimilated than me and you. We speak English. We eat English food. I eat chips. Like, what more can I do? I don't want Sharia law in this country. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to cover women up in burqas. Like, I don't agree with illegal immigrants. I pay my taxes. How much more can I be assimilated? Or is it a situation that as long as I have this colour skin, I will never be thought of as assimilated? But I can't help that. I can't help that colour of my skin, nor would I want to. But people say about assimilation, what does that mean? Because there's people in this country that are assimilated, but because of the colour of their skin, they will always assume they're not.
And I feel like those people are starting to question if they actually feel welcome here, which is
I
actually
don't feel
really
welcome.
sad.
I don't feel welcome in this
And
country.
but then it's like, okay, I'll go back to, where is there to go back to?
Yeah, I don't have
This
a
is
go
all I
back
know.
to.
This is all I know.
But to be honest, the way I feel about England, and I'm sure some people would be really happy for people like me to say this, I wouldn't mind leaving if I had the right money.
If I had the right money
Yeah.
and the right opportunity, I wouldn't mind leaving either.
It's not about hating England.
No.
It's just about being somewhere where you feel welcome.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't feel welcome in a country that I contribute to more than
And
90%
that's
of the
really,
population.
really upsetting, actually.
It is upsetting. It's upsetting to not be welcome in the country that you, that you live in, that you contribute to, that you pay very high taxes to, and you love. And it's unfortunate. And I don't know what to do about it. Do you know what I mean? But I think the only thing we're going to get is unity. I was driving on the promenade, where I live is a beach. There was a guy on the side of the road waving his Union Jack. And as I went past, I thought, here you go, because some guys just stand there all day waving their flag where I am. That's like their job for the day. I can't do that because I've got a job, innit? So I can't stand around waving flags all day because I've got to work. But as I went past him, he had the Union Jack, but in the middle, I thought it was, and that's my trauma, and that's my misconception, and that's my judging before I should have judged. I thought, oh, here we go. He's going to say something like, keep Britain British, or whatever, immigrants out, or whatever. Actually, in that he said, we are stronger together. We are stronger.
But you saw the flag in it and you thought, here we go.
But again, that's my trauma, and that is my problem, and that is what I've talked about before.
It's not just your trauma and your problem, though. People are throwing it out there right now as that's what they want you to see.
But I didn't give that guy a chance. So when I saw what was written, and it was such a lovely message, it was something that, I can't remember the exact message, but it was something like, together we're stronger. We're stronger if we unite. I beat my car at him. Do you know what I mean? As I went past, give him a little point. My man saluted me with his flag in his hand. Saluted me with his flag. And we had
was that around here?
Yeah, on the water. But we had it was a nice moment. Do you know what I mean? Because he looked the most English of English. Do you know what I mean? And I don't look the most English of English. Do you know what I mean? But we had a nice moment. I pointed at him, he saluted me. I beat my horn at him as I went past, because I agree with what he's saying. Together, we're stronger.
100%.
We're so strong together as a nation. And if we can find a way to pull together based on our similarities, then drive ourselves apart based on our differences. And if we can embrace the fact that because we're different, we all bring a different thing to the table to make us stronger. If every one of us was exactly the same, with all the same culture and all the same food and all the same way of thinking, it would be a very boring country that wouldn't be progressive. Sometimes you need different things, or all the time really, you need different things to come in to expand your horizons. And I just hope we can find a way to unite, to be honest with you.
Same.
I think we need it, because I think we're driving a wedge in between ourselves.
Yeah, and I'm really worried about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Cool. What was the other thing you wanted to talk about? Should we